What is up, guys? Welcome to the very first episode of the Punch Bowl. I'm your host, Punchy. And basically, we are starting our Yu-Gi-Oh podcast venture today. We're going to be talking about all things Yu-Gi-Oh. We're going to be talking about the meta, casual, competitive, whatever you want to talk about, whatever we want to talk about that has to do with this game. We're going to be talking about it. So without further ado, I'm just going to get everybody introduced. So first up, we got Andy. Andy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background with Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yes, sir. Hello. What got me into Yu-Gi-Oh was, of course, playing with friends. I saw it. You guys were playing in college. My friends were playing it, Punchy. And After a while of just watching and interacting with you guys, I started playing. My very first deck, of course, being Blue Eyes, White Dragons. And then from there, going on, having a blast. And I've been playing now for about almost 2 to 3 years now. And I've been having a blast ever since. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What about you? Let's go next with Himmels.
Yeah, so my name's Himmels or Alex. What got me into the game? When I was younger, like really, really young, probably third or fourth grade, my uncle was really into Yu-Gi-Oh. So when we'd go up to visit our family in Oregon, actually, I'd play with him, just at like the dining room table. And then, going back, it was also popular, growing up. Everybody at school would play it. Like in elementary school, we'd all have our little decks of whatever cards we could find, just kind of thrown together.
Pile decks, yeah.
Yeah, just like whatever, we just have fun, play it. So then I had that, collected some random cards here and there. My uncle actually sent me his whole like collection, not collection, but all his bulk. But at that point, I didn't care. Like when you're in third grade, you don't care, right? Yeah. It's all Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
It's all cards, yeah.
Yeah. So I still have some of those to this day, actually, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome.
But then off and on, my brother got into it when I was in like middle school. I ended up buying some packs. Bought my own box for the first time, and then I started playing on Dueling Book, or not Dueling Book, Dueling Network at the time. My bad.
Way to date yourself.
Exactly right.
Network.
It's all the same thing, right? And my first deck that I kind of cohesive deck that I built was it was Chaos Dragons, and that deck was so much fun. Red MD had
Classic.
like just came out. Yeah, a lot of the Dragon recruiters had a lot of fun. And then, Pendulums came out. I played up until like Pendulums came out, quit, and then I came back in 2019 at the end of TOS format. And I've just kind of been having fun ever since then, playing the game, kind of playing a lot more competitively now, obviously, but really investing in and playing the game.
Yep. What about you, Austin? Let's hear about you.
Hey, so I'm the baby out of the group, so I don't have a lot of fun stories about old formats. But I got into Yu-Gi-Oh through like the 2011 DS game. It was Yu-Gi-Oh over the Nexus or something. That's why I was playing. I building with most random pile decks. I remember having just a zombie pile deck because
I had the 5Ds World Championship game.
Yes, sir.
From 2011, I think it was the same year.
Yes, yeah, that game was great. I remember shooting that, and I built DDD when it had like its week and a half before Zodiac came out. I built that, and I was like, I'm going to go to locals. I'm going to start, and then that was about around 2019. Yeah, I never went to locals. Then eventually, because I heard about Master Rule 4, I was like, wow, this kills my deck. Whatever. Then waited. And then I was going to go right when the Master Rule Revisions came out. It was like April 1st, and COVID hit. Didn't get the start. Started around September of 2020. And I've been a competitive player all since. And then I finally met these guys, and it's how we got here.
Heck yeah. And then for me, I started. I mean, I've been watching the show since it first came out. Me and my brother Sam, we used to, once the game came out, we were hooked. The first starter decks came out. I got Joey, Sam got Pegasus, and we would play all the time. But we had no clue what we were doing. But we would like buy packs here and there. And then I think I was in about 4th or 5th grade. My buddy Aslan we would play. That was when like Elemental Heroes were like huge back in like the GX era.
Dude,
and
heroes, right?
Absolutely. They're like the coolest cards. It was like a whole bunch of blue eyes white dragons. That's how it felt. So we would play that during recess, and then I just remember I got the Spellcaster's Command starter deck. Structure deck, I think it was, and it had Breaker the Magical Warrior with the Magical Citadel of Endymion, and I thought I was like so good because I would just normal summon Breaker, and I thought that Breaker was like a quick effect, and I also thought it negated spells and traps, so I would just like
MST
use the
every turn.
counters to negate all my buddies' cards, and he's like, "That's not fair, bro." And I was like, "Sorry, dude, you bought the wrong deck." So that was funny, and then I think competitively, I started similar to Austin actually. Nick and I started like right before COVID, and we had just invested into like our first meta decks. I had just bought Invoked Shaddoll, and then I just don't. It was like really frustrating because I had just bought it. I shelled out like a bunch of money, and then like we were about to go to our first regionals. It was in Pittsburgh, and then like that same weekend of the regionals, COVID hit, and so it was really sad. But then like I think it was for me. I think I came back in like August of 2021.
I played you at your first locals back.
Yes, Himmels played me with Sky Strikers, swept me up, and I wanted to play that deck, so I did. And that was my first taste of like competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Was Sky Strikers back in like 2021 after Engage was banned, believe it or not. And then it got unbanned like a week later, and I was happy. So, but yeah, and then now we're here, and now we're rocking with this podcast. So we're really excited to dive into this. So let's just get on with the let's start with last format, because last format was something fierce. It was very polarizing. Huge dichotomy between the player base. What do you guys think? How did you guys like last format? How did you like Tier 0? How did you like Tier Element?
I loved Tier Element. I bought the entire deck on pre-release weekend and never looked back. Everyone hated me for the stretch of 8 months it was live. Yeah, I played practically every version of that deck. It was so much fun just milling a bunch of cards and like thinking about it. It's like a fishbowl style deck. It wasn't linear. And I personally enjoyed it, and I loved the Tier 0 approach because I knew exactly what I was prepping for, and I didn't have to worry about 9 different things I could see at a locals.
Yep. I'm a big fan of. I wouldn't say like just a huge fan of the idea of Tier 0, but I do really enjoy when like 1 or 2 decks are the strongest. And it was nice because I was on Sprite, so I wasn't on quite the best deck, but I was like right there on the cusp of it, and it was nice just knowing what I was going to be playing against most of the time.
I think triangle formats are the best.
Yeah, I really agree. It just lets you. It's really good to like. It's easy to prepare for, without like making the game easy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I know Andy hated Tier 0. He hated tier limits. Andy, actually, like you played the deck when it first came out, right? And you were like, "Nah, this ain't it."
Well, so what happened was I bought the deck, and originally I wanted to do more with it in a sense, or I guess I wanted to do my own thing with it. I didn't want to be like more of like a cut and paste tier element player that just did the same thing over and over again. So what I implemented was like the Phantom Knight engine, because in a sense it does make sense when like you can go share an effect to send Torn Scales to mill 3, and then you mill like Cloak, and you're just gaming all day.
Big gaming, yeah.
And Elf is crazy of a card. RIP, man. Elf,
yeah, for real, dude. That was my boy, dude. I can't believe they did Elf like that.
Elf was like one of the big like key cards because you could put Rusty underneath it and can't be targeted. It was one of the biggest like things to have in the deck. But sooner or later, once tier got to like full power, I just decided to sell it when it got high at its highest peak, where like Kikaluses were like $20, like, and stuff like that. And ever since then, I think I was just not feeling the game. Unfortunately, I was one of those players that just like I wasn't gonna quit the game, but I was just taking a break. So I decided to like play other TCGs. However, the format, I will say, was very interesting to watch, especially like in the YCSs. Seeing like interaction with the deck is interesting. However, I do feel like when you see 75 or more percent of a deck be represented in a YCS,
Yeah, that can get annoying.
it can get a little bit annoying. But of course, you see
Yeah.
amazing players who can pilot the deck, and that's really cool to watch because it's then again, it's not just the deck that's playing; it's the player.
Yeah, that and like you said, like you briefly touched on it. Pote tier limits was way different than like Darkwing Blast post like
absolutely.
Mavens.
Yeah,
Darkwing,
I was
like,
gonna
all that
touch
stuff.
on that as well. Right?
Yeah,
It's like they actually had a pilot into like figuring out how to avoid like Nibiru or even avoiding like something like as crazy as that, but because of Rukalos,
that and like the texts were just different. Like people were playing all kinds of stuff, and the deck wasn't solved before like a Shizu came out. I don't think tier limits was like solved yet. Like Chaos Ruler had just been banned, Curious got banned, so like that strategy was like out the window.
Don't mention him by name, man. I'm still grieving over Chaos Ruler. Okay.
Yeah, bro. I can't
that
play
was my
Dragon Link
favorite
anymore. It's
version.
just not the
It's
same,
not the
dude.
same.
but as well like the introduction to the like Ishizu cards with like didn't even get involved yet until Mama was released, and when Mama came out like on pre-release, people buying those cards, I'm so glad I'm one of those people that kept away
Bro,
from it,
spending
from
like
the pre-sales.
$300
Yeah.
on this. She's
Oh my god, yeah.
Yo, that was so funny, dude.
You know-
Dude, I opened my cases and I was like, I gotta move these ASAP because these are
Yeah,
not gonna
what's the
maintain
best deal you got
price.
on an Ishizu core?
Oh man.
What's the highest you sold one for, Himmels?
I mean, because I didn't get mine until a couple days later, but like, even selling them, I think like $50 or $60 for a core was like a lot
Dang,
after
bro.
pre-release.
Yeah. I bought my core.
It is because they're dollars.
I bought my core for 110.
Yeah, like, and Austin
Feels-
got his like on release basically.
Yeah, I got
Oh,
mine
dude.
like
I wasn't able
I-
to sell mine until like 4 or 5 days afterwards, but that was still pretty good when like Kelbecks were like $12 at the time.
Yeah.
Like Kelbecks were 12. I think Medoras were 10s before people realized Medora was like the worst one. And then
Mhm.
like Keldos and or not Medoras, I meant Agitos were 10s, not Medoras. Medoras are good. Medoras were like $5 and I think Keldos were like 7s when I sold like a couple cores.
You know, we're talking
That's
about
baller.
we're talking about these Ishizu cards. I feel like that is a big reason why tier gets such a bad rep. Those cards are broken.
Well, those cards kind of broke the deck. I was gonna say like
Yeah,
I
she's-
played
yeah,
like
there's too much.
I played tier basically since it came out, like since the first couple iterations of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And seeing how the like you touched on, seeing how the deck like evolved as more cards kept coming out was kind of wild. I think like honestly my favorite version of that deck was the I like playing punk tier quite a bit.
That was a
Yeah,
really
I had a-
cool
I
deck.
had a-
Punk tier was so much fun using like
Yeah.
Hulk and Chaos Ruler and all that. Like obviously those cards are broken and
Yeah.
and banned now for good reason. But like
right.
that was the most fun I had playing the deck.
Yeah. I had the most fun with it was a Danger Punk tier build, and it was just like
Danger
that's
cards
the
are
all
always
gas
cool.
no
Yeah.
brakes build.
Yeah, it
Anytime
was-
danger
yeah.
cards are valid,
yes, sir. It's
Dude, my favorite
Yeah,
thing
I
was
feel
summoning
bad.
Falco off of Hulk because Falco's a level 2 tuner to make Baron and then making wind on my
Yeah.
on my opponent's turn.
feels good.
But yeah, I mean,
Feels real
I
good.
enjoyed that version. And then when the Ishizu cards came out, I got like, well, for a while I was just like, okay, I got tired of playing tier mirrors like at locals for a while because like, I mean, I want to do well at locals, but I also don't want to sweat every single locals I play. So I took like a month and just
Yeah.
started playing like rogue decks or like worse versions of tier, just like
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted something different. But I personally like tier quite a bit. I have a lot of, I thought the deck was really fun, and I did like the mirror. I thought it was like, because it made you like kind of you had to really time your interactions really well and know when to use them. So like that part of the mirror I really enjoyed. It's not just like a dice roll mirror where you set up your board and then I won dice roll so I win. It felt
Yeah,
like you
that
could
and
kind of interact with the deck with your
It
own
wasn't
cards.
just the tier. The tier mirror wasn't the only interactive part of that format. The
No,
cool
not
part of
at
that
all.
format was if you were at like the level of playing like competitively, and you were on Sprite, tier, or Flu, the games were super interactive, like between all three decks. Like it wasn't
sometimes
just
your opponent opens
Sometimes.
up Shifter map Eaglin and then you
Yeah,
just
you
handshake.
can't do
Yeah,
that,
I
yeah.
forgot about Flu on
Or they just
Reese.
open normal summon eagle and set Featherstorm pass.
It's like, oh, I'm rigged.
but
Here's the Feather
anyway,
Storm.
like it was the first format we'd seen in a while where Scythe wasn't just getting spammed.
Sure.
There was always a deck that was doing it. It comes in and out, and it was like, it was more so. Yeah, there was a little floodgate shenanigans from the Flu, but even then, like Sprite versus Flu, super interactive. For Sprite, we kind of win that, but it felt bad because I was like a Sprite gamer the whole time, and then I finally invested into Tier after like just getting bored of playing Sprite all the time, and then like a couple days after I had like purchased like a Starlight Rukalos and like the full deck, they just banned everything. Man. I was so sad. I was so sad. Which actually is a great segue. We could talk about the new format. Into it was kind of crazy because Photon Hypernova and the new ban list kind of came into the format at once, which is like usually we see like a stagger.
Mhm.
We see like a ban list then a set. But this was just like a full hard reset, very similar to when they killed like Toss. So like, what do you guys think of the ban list at least?
That was definitely a ban list.
It was a ban list.
So some of the cards made sense. Of course, everyone wanted Wind Barrier Statue out of here. Wind Barrier Statue made
course,
Flu
yeah.
like one of the most hated decks.
Like
in
you
the
guys were saying,
format.
yeah, that took a lot of interaction out of the game.
It still can play. Flu can play still. If you
Flu's just fine.
you can if you have the feather storm, hey, you have it. But at least I can interact with you still and be able to special summon and not get locked in the wins. But yeah, others, Elf. I think everyone's surprised. Elf was definitely like not the pick that we were thinking of.
I
was not
definitely thought that
expecting
card
it.
had to go. I knew that card was gonna go eventually.
I knew the card was
free
I thought
specials, generic,
yeah.
and also just being untargetable.
Targeting protection.
It's just like it does
Yeah.
way too much for a Link 2, which
I think it's crazy that Tier was full power and Elf is what everyone complained about though. Like that was crazy to me.
It was
It's
Elf being generic
splashable,
too, though,
which
right?
I get
Yeah,
it.
it's like-
I
mean,
think
yeah.
I think like as a Sprite player, I would have much rather taken the Toad ban first. I knew Elf was gonna go at some point, but like at least just like one more format, like
Yeah.
playing like Sprite into Cash. Like I was so ready. I was like I had so many theories for that matchup, and then like once Elf left, I was just like, dude, this deck sucks.
yeah, it's bad. Yeah,
This deck sucks, man.
being a tier player, so I'm like kind of biased, but I really would have liked to see just all the Shizu cards banned, and then maybe kick Kalos banned too, and like still try and play the deck now, because like
But you see what it's like in the OCG. That's basically what it's like there, dude. It still has 30% representation.
yeah, it's absurd. It's like I know it like had everything just had to get hammered to just play something different, but I mean, I would have enjoyed a trickle style like an OCG ban list instead of just a meteor, just a nib.
Oh yeah, because you weren't really playing during the nuclear toss ban list, were you?
No, I didn't.
I definitely
no,
was
I did not play Yu-Gi-Oh at all during.
Yeah,
During toss.
exactly right. Like,
I'm sad I missed Toss format.
Yes,
dude,
Like,
that's
same.
that was
Totally
like I had
honest.
just invested, but the deck was pretty cheap at the time. During that toss format, I had just bought like Sky Striker and played it for literally like 2 events, and then I'm just like, oh, guess it's gone.
Yeah, I think I would have been a Thunder Dragon player for sure. That deck looked like so much fun.
Yeah, I set up your double Colossus.
I know, bro. I'm thinking the same way as you, Austin. I was like, I want to play Thunder Dragon so bad with Colossus, but I don't think I'll ever get to do it anytime soon.
I should play Dragon Link with LP. I want to see what LP was like.
Oh man,
Dude, no,
I
that
hear you,
that
bro.
Dragon Link deck was really cool with was it Lib?
Yeah,
Is it Ib?
Ib, yeah,
Ib.
the Synchro 5.
That's it. Ib's the synchro. Lib's the link too that
Gotcha,
searches.
yeah.
But, or sets. But yeah, that deck was really cool. You play like what is it? The World Chalice Guard Dragon?
Yeah, you played that, and then you'd link it off.
Yeah.
For LP, get your World Legacy Guard Dragon, then make
Yo,
the
play
Pisty.
Aggerpain.
Yep, it did everything.
Free hot red.
Yeah. Anyway, but enough about reminiscing on the past. How do we feel about Cash Tier?
I think it's
it's
annoying.
it's
It's a gimmicky
deck.
floodgate deck in my opinion.
Yeah,
But like,
I'm not a big fan of decks like I'm not a big fan of piloting decks like that. But I do think it's really cool because like at first I really did think it was just kind of gonna be like like FTK deck where it's like they resolve it, they win, they don't, they lose. But then like seeing people pivot into the Arise Heart Pass, and I was just like, yeah, I mean, makes sense.
a Rise Heart Pass is so much. I'd much rather deal with that than Double Stronger Era locking me from playing the game.
100%. But not my point being, usually you see a deck like Danger Dark World, they don't really have a pivot from that hand loop strategy as
Yeah, they
much
just
so as
gotta
like
keep going.
Kashtira being able to just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna make a Macrocosmos on legs with a banish and set 5 pass.
Not even set
Which
5.
is cool. It was cool to see that pivot, and it was not only cool to see the pivot, but it was cool to see at the YCS the pre-planning involved with like being like, okay, everyone's gonna be on board breakers, nibs, golems, eclipses. We're just gonna not do that ever. It just like goes to show like how much like testing like the some of the top players really take with like these new decks before an event comes around.
You know, we talk about
for sure.
Cash being gimmicky flood deck sort of style. I'm gonna be playing pure Cash here for a little bit, but honestly, I see there's definite like at least like promise that this could be used like an engine in a way because it's like a freeway to sevens, and like it's a very
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think it's more of the main engine or it's more of a supplemental engine since you play the deck?
It
more?
can be
I don't-
played. So my thing is that you can definitely play it as a engine because we've seen it in the past format where Tier was able to be using it as an engine to get into like was it they would go into Draco Sack use tokens, make Cherubini.
Well, that was in last format.
post ban list.
Yeah,
And pre-ban list, they were using it just to play around cards that beat Tier. Like
exactly.
putting the deck together just played around both decks' weaknesses. It was kind of stupid.
I feel like that bridge worked more because like in theory people were testing that out because the Tier Elements Kashtira card was like the bridge between the archetypes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like Kashtira as an engine, like you can play like just like you like draw a unicorn and like I get to access this whole engine, or you can play like I feel like if you play it pure, you get your follow up inherently because you just have more copies.
Yeah.
But like it is by itself, like I feel like it's definitely a good. You could play like I was like theorizing like you could play like 7-8 card engines and like people were using it in Sword Soul, which I don't see the I don't like the levels don't really match.
I don't like. I really don't like that.
Yeah, me either.
Combination.
But I mean, maybe in like future, I think an Xyz deck maybe could help use it as well because like there's some really good level 7 Xyz.
I was thinking that. I was like, the problem with it being like a supplemental engine is the moment you get a little too deep on the cards, your Xyz locked and it kind of just loses its boom.
Yeah, but
go ahead.
no, I was just agreeing with you there.
I think the best way to use it is honestly just like that original package, right? With the just with like Unicorn, like Birth.
Well,
and Fenrir,
I mean,
right?
Fenrir on its own is just a powerhouse. You
Yeah,
could literally
like
play
most
3
decks
Fenrir.
could just like use Fenrir just as removal.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
And
think
then
that's
Birth
where
is an extender.
Fenrir, if you get the special summon, they get rid of it. You get another Fenrir effect. It's not once per turn to special summon.
Mhm.
Is
Nope,
the
not even close.
it's the dumbest thing in the
Yeah,
world.
truly.
Also, I think the engine itself is really good. What's crazy is like after a while, like you said, the more that players implement like the strategy with like using Tier Element Kashtira or even using Scareclaw, the Scareclaw monster to like banish Theosis, to banish like Big Bang from their graveyard, to
Mhm.
then be able to go Theosis effect to grab back whatever they like need for follow up is really, really cool. I do like a deck that's able to like recur. That's like a cool thing about it is like you could end on triple material Rise Heart, have like 2 back row and having like a follow up for next turn is really, really cool. And that's what I like about it. It's the field spell. it's really good. I mean, all planets we've seen so far, all planet field spells are really good.
Yep.
And I do like the fact that at least it has some sort of limitation with the pop effect. Tier Element's planet was really broken. Just been whenever a Tier Element monster was shuffled back into the deck to just pop one. At least with
Oh my
Shangri-Ira.
gosh, yeah.
At least with
especially
Shangri-Ira.
with the Ishizu cards, dude. Like,
Yeah. It was just a free pop, regardless, that you could do with the Ishizu cards. At least now with Shangri-Ira, you're able to at least like interact. And it's like, okay, Shangri-Ira effect, and then it'll be the planet's effect to pop something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pop effect feels much more balanced than Pearl Arena.
Absolutely.
Like Pearl Arena was like
That was
a legit
ridiculous,
like
dude.
interruption you had to play around every single turn.
Now,
Like,
continuous.
It was
like,
game stealing. Because if you forgot about that field spell, like you could literally, the whole game was lost when they resolved it. You're just like, yeah,
You're just
Nah,
like, yeah, I
and-
guess you just get a pop a card, and like
yeah.
you could use this as a combo piece in tier as well, right? Popping your own,
yeah.
like Kaleido Heart, popping your
Kaleido,
own,
yep.
Kit Kalos.
Now, what I'm
Mhm.
seeing is what Konami is. What I'm seeing a lot of is continuous archetype cards. So, Tier Element Scream, good example.
Yeah.
Really powerful
Dude,
card to be able to
Birth
like
is
mill three.
insane.
I
Yes.
think Birth
You
is.
have to deal with birth. You have to.
And what's disgusting about it too is if you activate something, say like you already have stuff in the graveyard for follow up for next turn, and you activate something in the graveyard that's a spell. Well, if you're targeting something in the graveyard, they could just activate Birth to just banish those three, and then mandatory effect of a Rise Heart. Mandatory effect to just grab one and just getting materials over and over again is
Yeah, I'm gonna
really
activate talents
crazy.
now, Andy.
Just take it, make
That's
Zeus.
the thing about, so like, yeah, okay, so like Cash is cool, Cash is good, but like the deck just loses to like both ends of the spectrum. I feel like if you're playing big combo lock your zones Kashtira, you literally do lose to any single like blowout card.
Yes.
And then if you
Well, on the
play a
opposite
Rise
end of the
Heart
spectrum,
Pass,
a Rise Heart Pass, like every trap deck is beating you. Any deck with a little bit of gas is beating you.
An Imperm.
Like, it's not much of a towers when like every deck just has monsters that can go battle phase crash. You know, it's like
3K is
so
not
I
what it
don't
used
know.
to be, right?
yeah, exactly. It's exactly right. So I don't know. I'm excited to see where Cash goes, and if when the cards drop in price, I will probably pick them up and mess around with the cards a little bit because I don't know, they're really fun. They're really cool. Have crazy arts.
Oh
Love
yeah,
that.
the art,
Yeah, the art is
the
insane.
the red and the green is
Fenrir looks
really
so
really
sick.
crazy.
Fenrir looks sick, bro. They're just like terrifying monsters on the Xyz, bro. Rise Heart, are you kidding me?
The field
Rise
spell,
Rise
Snow-
Heart's cool. Fenrir's cool. I think
Like-
Unicorn's art. I don't really like Unicorn's art, but like
It's still cool.
And
well,
that's
it's
another
cool.
thing.
I just think
It's-
it's like it's not as
Yeah.
cool as like Fenrir though.
well, that's
No, yeah,
like
Fenrir's-
Dude,
Fenrir's so
Fenrir's
sweet.
pose is sick. It looks
Exactly.
so awesome.
and it's
Rise
really
Heart
cool. Yeah,
Rise Heart's cool. Theosis has really sick art.
Yep.
yeah.
One more thing I want to mention about Cash is like the idea, the monsters on their own, just on field that punish you for playing, are also just like very very like different way to play the deck. Like you can just end on Fenrir Ogre.
Well, it's like it's very similar to Sprite,
Mhm.
where it's like Carrot Red, you know,
Yeah.
Fenrir Unicorn. Like those are solid end board option pieces. Like if your opponent flips D Barrier after you summon Unicorn Fenrir, it's like okay, I still have Fenrir.
Yeah, I feel like more people are gonna play Ogre soon because this card just like ripping. This card just like it does a lot. Like I
Ogre's
think
so good.
Ogre
And it
preparations.
searches
just-
preparations. Right? Preparations is so good right now.
Mhm. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, I thought you guys were talking about Ghost Ogre for a second.
No.
I really
wish.
thought about Ghost
I
Ogre,
wish
too.
Ghost Ogre was good right now.
I love when Ghost Ogre's good.
I know. Those
Which
are,
brings me
those
to
are
my next
actually just
point.
my favorite formats is when Ghost Ogre's good.
Is based decks. Base is seeing a resurgence with the Makonko stuff. You know, Jesse Cotton touched on it. Gabriel Netz. It was him, right, who did well with Makonko at the regionals.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, I
remember.
think that's.
What do you guys think of the base decks?
Um,
Do you think that like without Hulk, it just kind of
Yeah.
ruins it, or do you think there's some?
They have
still
they
a
have
little bit
a
of merit?
they have a Chaos Ruler. They have the Diablantis, the Menacing Mantis card. That card seems like it wants
Yeah.
Konami prints one insect too good. I feel like that card
yeah.
just
Yeah.
Truly, truly. And Konami has a habit of doing that. They have a habit of like releasing groundbreaking cards if just one card gets printed, and then like they're like, oh, that card's getting printed.
Yeah, and like the zombie vampire is still a card. It's like a worse chaos ruler.
Oh,
You know,
card's crazy,
it's still
yeah.
really good. It's still really, really good to be able to
mill
mill
4 spec one.
mill
Give me
4
that.
of any card.
Give me that.
Give me that. Yeah.
And they still have like, you know, Shinobi Necro. Like I've seen stuff with Shinobi Necro. It's still really good. We
Mhm.
don't have Fairy Tale Snow. That's another card. Fairy Tale Snow was really dumb if it ever got milled or sent by what was that card? The synchro monster that sent one from your deck.
Riser.
Yeah, Riser.
Mm.
Yeah, that card was really good.
That and Beatrice.
Oh, Beatrice
Yeah,
is
you just
another
Beatrice
one.
dump it. You could. Do you know what my favorite thing to deal with? Branded fusion. Send it.
Yeah.
Ash Blossom.
Oh,
That's all I have to say
I
about
lost.
Let's talk
I
about
lost
Branded
so many
for a
matches. I
minute.
lost like 2 out of my 3 matches literally to just snow. At YCS Hartford. I'm still upset.
Are you guys done with Branded yet? Because I'm done with it.
Dude, Ash. Just Ash.
I don't like that deck.
Every,
Personally,
I-
I think the deck's like good. I just don't like it.
I feel
I don't like playing against it.
It's not fun to face. It's not. Maybe it's fun to play. It's one of the meta decks I haven't played. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like the pilots enjoy the crap out of the deck, but it just feels like, bro.
I just
it
hate
feels like
facing that deck because they
when
resolve
I-
branded fusion and you're just like, okay,
it's
cool.
a FTK. You're dead. Yeah.
I guess I lose, right? Yeah.
But I will say, Himmels, I've been enjoying the Labyrinth versus Branded matchup a little bit.
I think it's interactive.
It's very interactive and it feels very tempo based. I've been
say it's
enjoying it.
interactive as I flip D barrier 4 turns in a row, but you know.
Yeah, but like crazily, they like play through it because then they just like set Branded in red and they set their trap. I forget which one it is,
Yeah,
and
but
they like.
that's why I activate
You guys
2.
play trade a little bit.
That's why I cycle my 2 my 2 D barriers every
And
turn.
then that's why they make Jinzo, and it's like, dude, that's awesome. Like the fact that they're playing
How
Jinzo
many
right
people
now,
are
I will
actually
say,
playing Jinzo? Is that real? Or is that another thing?
it is a real thing. The funny thing is, I think I might retract my statement. I think current Branded right now is actually a lot more fun to play against than any past variant of it.
I
So
don't think it's fun to play against, but I think it's cool. I think it's much cooler than past variants.
So my opinion on it is that when Branded first came out, the deck itself is really cool. The archetype is insane. That's why people also love it. It's like you said, like the archetype, and the lore base with it being surrounded by like Tri Brigade, the like invoked or not invoked, the
Spriggan.
Dogmatica and the Spriggans as well. In the new support, like don't get me wrong, like the deck is annoying to go against, but you gotta like admit, like Artesia is like a card that like I just learned like so many things with
Yeah,
that
I
card.
love that card.
Cartesia is
so cool.
insane.
Yeah.
Even like the new fusions allow more interaction because like
Grand Guignol, crazy.
like yeah, and even like the was it
Super
Rinbrum?
cool.
Rinbrum? Like Rinbrum's a really good card.
Rinbrum.
It says in the graveyard to just banish Albaz to spec itself out, and this is during either
Bonk.
player's
Yeah.
turn. I love the
Yo,
deck.
Branded Expulsion was a mistake, though. Can we agree on that?
Granted
card is,
Expulsion, yeah,
Not
that
cool.
that
card
card's
is not fun.
yeah,
No, it's
that-
not.
Yeah,
What's
No,
cool?
That card's not fun, and they
But-
can't like really ban it because there's a new like there's a new fusion coming out that just does the same thing. It's a little bit harder to get to,
as
but
much
it's
as
like,
I agree, I think it's really cool when decks are able to like make stupid cards good again, like Expulsion, like being able to like the gimmick puppet stuff is so funny,
gimmick
dude.
puppet
It is
nightmares. It's
so
really funny, but
funny.
it's so annoying.
And anytime like a Dragoon deck's in the meta, bro, that's
Yo, the
exciting.
fact
bro,
that
'cause you
they're
get
playing
frightened to
Dragoon
sit
just
across.
annoys me.
Yeah, because it's
I
like,
get
oh,
PTSD.
did
I
I
s-
draw the out? I did not.
No,
I
I'm
still
gonna be
think-
honest, I love playing against Branded because I always draw Ash. I always have the Ash. You know what?
Oh,
keep
you
it
just
coming.
built different.
Yeah, keep it coming because
Do you know
Ash
what's-
is the only hand job I ever draw.
Do you know what's awesome? Whenever I draw Ash against Branded, they either have to wait to play around it or they have to Called by the Grave every single time. I don't think I've had an Ash Blossom resolve against Branded in like weeks.
Yeah,
it's
I'll teach
it's
you
a
the way.
deck that I personally
I just stopped playing Ash.
I want
in
to
my deck.
I want to be able to
Didn't
like
do it.
try out, and I think I want to try it out just a little bit, just because I think the interaction. I still think Allure of Darkness did like go draw 2, banish tragedy is the most broken thing you can do in that deck.
Bro, it
It's
probably
so
feels
dumb.
very similar to Chaos Space Gamma.
Exactly.
Oh, for sure, dude.
It's
100%.
like-
That's
For
my
sure.
favorite combo.
It's
Oh,
so
my.
crazy, and
My favorite
Oh,
was
Chaos
when I
Space,
was like
pitch
really on
abs.
Dragon Link was when I would draw Chaos Space and double Gamma, and I would pitch the one Gamma, and they'd be like, "Oh, he doesn't have a second," and they Ash, and I'm like, "Second Gamma."
If you go Chaos Space,
Crazy.
pitch
You
You
abs,
look at them, you're
chain
like, oh,
gamma.
you're mad right now.
Yeah.
And don't get me like I've seen like really
Crazy.
good branded players, and I think that branded is also another one of those decks that's exactly like Kashtira, where the interaction it's all based on the player who plays it. I have seen branded, and where I'm just like I'm rooting for the branded player because the interaction with that deck is insane. Being able to like avoid, you could just avoid evenly matched, which is dumb, and still be able to have a mirror jade out for whatever they have, and also you have in hand Cartesia. Like it's
Cooties.
and,
Yeah.
like another thing is just Chimera. If you have polymerization in the graveyard, that thing is a monster.
I
3,300.
mean, I think most of them have dropped that the patchwork engine. I don't think it's very good right now.
I still
To be
think
fair, I'm
it's
also
pretty
biased.
cool.
I've never really liked that package, but
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree though. Like getting rid of Chimera when there's a poly in the graveyard is such a pain to deal with.
Oh my god, dude! Once that Guardian Chimera comes down, I'm like, dude.
If Chimera
gotta quit
resolves, you're
playing that
probably
card.
just losing. Like,
Yep.
who cares if there's a poly in the graveyard, dude? They're going like +2 minimum.
Pop 12, draw 3.
Yeah,
Sure,
let
man.
me just pop. Yeah, let me just
And I
pop
swear,
2 cards,
and
non-targeting,
the
and then
first-
draw a card.
The first few weeks I played against Chimera, I feel like it gained a new effect every week.
I think it did. It probably did.
I was like, surely this card needs to stop giving.
it needs to stop getting
And-
eroded.
Now that we've gone over Cash and Branded, because I think those are 2 of the 3 best decks, I'm super stoked that 2 trap decks are like competitively viable right now. Like,
I like.
I mean,
trap
Himmels
decks.
and I were talking about it. Like, I think it was like early last year. We were saying because Labyrinth was coming out, it was like getting announced, and we had seen like nothing for it, except these like the. It
I
was
think we
just
saw
like
the
terrible
maids.
furniture.
We saw the
It was
maids
like
in the furniture.
yeah, the maids,
and maybe
and
lovely.
then I
It
yeah,
was
I think it
lovely.
was lovely, and we were like, this deck looks so bad, but it looks
It's
so
like-
fun.
Yeah, I got on that early.
Yeah, and seeing it now being like as like a full-fledged archetype where it's like and like both trap decks are also not they don't revolve around resolving floodgates.
That's not.
You know,
entirely
you can
true.
play
That's
floodgates.
Trap Tricks is
No,
literally
no. Absolutely is true. It absolutely is true. If you just because you can play floodgates in the deck does not mean that the deck revolves around flipping floodgates to win. Like
No,
Eldlick
I
was all about
agree.
flipping floodgates.
I
Floodgate
mean, I said,
But, like,
at its
With
core,
Labyrinth, it's like set one trap. It's like that's insane.
at its core, Labyrinth doesn't play around floodgates, but right now it's kind of like the optimal to play. It's just like playing.
Well, yeah, because
A
they're
lot of
legal, but
floodgates, which
Konami
feels
shouldn't
kinda
have
bad.
printed them.
But the deck doesn't need that. Like I said, like I think the deck was that month. I was like decided I wasn't gonna play like tier or meta. I actually just played Labyrinth for like a whole month,
Mhm.
and that was like pre Big Welcome. That was pre Lady, so that was like
Yep.
release Labyrinth. That deck was not very good, but it was like that deck. It felt so interactive for a trap deck to me, and you didn't have to play a lot of floodgates. Like
Yeah.
I think I main deck like triple DDG, and like if it came up, I would loop it because you have to against tier or else you lose. But it was just like, hey, let me pop a card, pop another card. It felt like balanced interruptions as opposed to like
Yeah.
I'm going to summon a 3500 attack Eldritch and then flip 4 floodgates. Good luck.
Yeah. And one of the most like satisfying things with Labyrinth I'm finding after like playing it for a couple of weeks is like when you get like the full like just like the full flow of the deck going, like you've got the field spell, you're looping your Ariana, you've got Lovely on board, and you're just like
Rotation.
popping and drawing
Every single
all
turn.
the time.
Your rotation.
And your
it
opponent
snowballs.
like it's like you want to keep doing it, but your opponent can't keep up after like 2 turns of it, and you're just like and they're like scoop, and you're like, dang, already? It's like it's fun. It's so fun to get that ball rolling.
I literally think. I mean, this is. I never really played much of the deck, but I feel like it feels like a more up to date like Altergeist deck. You know, Altergeist did the very same thing. Did the same thing with like, hey, I'm gonna loop Faker, I'm gonna loop Soquitus, and I'm gonna loop like my spoofing protocol, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get those cards in rotation, you cannot lose. You actually like you get Hextia, you get your all that stuff, and like the game's almost unwinnable for your opponent at that point. And Labyrinth kind of does the same thing, like just resource looping your interruptions.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. It's super. I think it's a super cool deck. I'm having fun playing it right now.
It's fun. I think,
but I would
Traptrix
say
is
those
very
are
good
probably.
too. That's kind of the other one, the other trap deck we're talking about right now. That deck's definitely not solved, but I mean, clearly Pack's doing pretty well with it. I think the combo variant's good. You get to end on like an Omni Negate, technically.
Yeah, Sarah is a house.
I
card is insane.
People complain about like, okay, Lady Labyrinth is definitely a problem card. I'm not gonna like disagree with that.
Yeah, it's toxic. Toxic as hell.
But
Absolutely.
Sarah is basically the Link 1 version of Lady Labyrinth. The only thing that's like,
that card is so annoying.
Like Sarah is so crazy. That card says, "Hey, I'm immune to trap effects. I spec a card from deck, trap tricks from deck every turn. Also, I'm setting a trap hole every turn to like just generate so much advantage so fast."
It's one card basically does it all.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the best Link ones in the game. Like
I'm
not even close.
Not
I think
a
it's a
big
top 3
fan of
Link one in the game.
It's fine.
It does
I
way
think
too
Link
much.
ones are
Wake up.
terribly toxic.
It's fine. Just imperm Sarah.
Yeah, true.
Just draw that.
Just beat over Sarah, even though when they have like
Rafflesia.
What's crazy is like Sarah is literally Lady Labyrinth when you have Rafflesia on board, right?
Yep.
Sarah's a tower. Like you could swing into her and do damage, but you can't pop her. Sure, you could target her, I guess, with like spell effects or, but she can't be destroyed. So
yeah, it's so crazy. I think Link ones are just like always like think about prank kids, dude. Like it's just so toxic.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
One card combo.
Yeah, Meow
plus
say-
one card
Meow
combo
Meow
plus
needs to
4 traps.
Man.
Bring Meow Meow back.
Let's not do
don't.
that. I hate that.
Don't.
That is
I'm
actually my
kidding.
least favorite
Yeah.
deck to face in
I
Yu-Gi-Oh.
despise.
Damn.
That deck is just not fun to
Prank
play.
kids.
Like you see
No.
them like normal summon like a
Any.
Dropsies, and then your heart just drops because you're like
You either play or you don't against prank kids, and that's what's frustrating.
you look at your
about it.
hand, you're like, did I see Ash Blossom? No Ash Blossom? Okay, cool. I'm getting double Raigeki'd and like into infinite follow-up.
Or you're like, I drew Ash Blossom, and they go Parallel Exceed, Chain Link Tube.
You guys hate every single deck I've ever played.
Yeah, basically.
any
Somebody's got to play him, bro.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to play him.
There's got to be someone who plays them.
So I think now that we've kind of like established that those are probably the best 3, it's like Cash, Branded, and like Traps at the moment. At the moment, format's nowhere near
Format's
solved.
like
but
so new. It's like it's hard to tell.
What do you guys? Okay, let's say. I mean, we've got a regional coming up in shout out Unmatched Gaming out in Reading.
I love Tyler
Later
Lovely.
this month. It's like 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks, something like that.
Yes, sir.
What are you guys going to be playing in your main deck to kind of prepare for these matchups?
Oh, the sauce.
Evenly matched.
Evenly matched is a good
Yeah,
one.
it's a pretty
Yeah.
good one.
Well, because Himmels, you're on Labyrinth, right?
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna
Or-
play Labyrinth. Like I haven't taken it to a
And-
big event yet, so
Andy, you're going to be on. Are you going to be on Ninjas or Sprite?
I will be on ninjas, good sir.
Good for you. And Austin, you're going to be on Cash.
Yeah, probably either that or
Okay.
Swords Hole.
And I'll be on Labyrinth myself. So what's the main deck spice for regionals
I like-
later this month?
I like
Evenly
Lance
matched.
a lot. I've been thinking,
Lance.
hearing it just like Lance. I feel like it's more than just Cash. Like if you need to combo a lot, then you can't really afford the space. But a lot of people are looking towards spells and traps to interact with your opponent over hand traps because they're like, oh, they don't do enough unless it's a nib.
Well, yeah, that and Lance doesn't trigger thrust.
Mhm. Thrust. Oh God, Thrust. Don't get me started on that card.
Why?
It's very. I don't know. It's just it's very 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 scary. It's like every single time I hand
that
trap my
card's
opponent,
terrifying, dude.
I played
You
against
got
my
your
good friend
playset?
Tom, and like we were just having a good casual game
Mr.
because
Tom.
he already won. And I go to hand trap, and I hand trap the wrong spot. He's like, "Do you really want to do this?" And it reveals Thrust to me, and I'm like, "God damn it!" Your card
Just
Bro,
say
no.
GG's. Let's go next.
Yeah. Well, the worst feeling is when you're playing friendlies with someone and they talents you and you're like, dude, come on.
What about Josh like only scythe locking you when you're playtesting?
Oh, dude, Josh, if you're watching this, dude, when you say, hey, let's play friendlies and you spam scythe lock, bro, that's not friendlies, bro. That's playtesting. That's playtesting.
Jake would be like,
dude.
Josh just wants to.
He
I
does
wanted
the
to play
same-
test, but
he-
I'm getting scythe locked and I can't test.
He did the same thing to
It'd
me.
be like 1 a.m. I'm just trying to like learn a new deck, and Josh is like scythe lock,
DP
scythe lock,
effect?
scythe. I'm like, bro,
Or
go to
DP
rest.
resolve scythe.
He was the same thing.
Before that,
when-
it'd be like, I'm gonna summon Dragoon with Utopic Draco Future, set double Fog
Dragoon, yeah.
Blade.
like
I hope you drew Dark Ruler.
it's like the same thing he did with Flu. Man, when he tried coming back into the game, he was like, he'd always ask me, Andy, you want to play another one, or you want to play a game? I'm like, yeah, man, let's play a game. And I play Sword Soul or whatever, and he just full combo Flu. I'm just like, bro. Or he just prosperity search evenly. I'm like, yeah, dude.
Well, to be fair,
that's
when
what I
he
love
was
about Josh.
when he was playing
Josh just
Flu,
wants to
he
win.
was,
I love it.
To be fair, when he was on Flu, he was actually trying to test for a 3v3.
I understand, but that deck,
that one's
deck,
yeah.
that deck's not testing. That you literally
Did I draw Rabina?
did. I draw it? No,
you
prosperity.
gotta
Find
his hand
it.
on
Like,
at
yeah, I
least
drew
once.
shift or map equal.
Duality,
I guess I
search
win
for
this
map.
time.
Oh, full combo.
Me losing at the 3v3 because the Flu player opened up shifter evenly or shifter eagle in map 2 out of 3 games. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's awesome.
Whenever-
Show you the 3-card combo.
You want to know what's funny, Himmels?
What?
With Labyrinth, every time I want to cut Coup Clock, I play a
comes
game
up.
where it wins me the game.
No, seriously, no, because I wasn't playing it in locals, right? Because I was
Yeah.
testing without it, and then I literally came up in a situation where I look at this board and I think my opponent like dusted me or something, or maybe I realized that they were trying to go battle phase or something. I could have like done something against that if I had Coup Clock. I'm like, if I could big welcome here for Coup Clock and then set like an Eradicator and rip the trap card out of his hand,
Mhm.
like I'd be winning this game.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's a really bad brick, honestly. Like you don't really want to draw that card, but
for sure.
it's
But then there's like, it's like 1 out of and it comes up often enough where it's just not worth cutting. 'cause
you
it's
kind of
like-
have to play it. Yeah.
And it only comes up 1 out of every like 4 or 5 games, but like those 4 or 5 games, it's like it's such a crucial piece. It's like no other card is doing what this is doing right now.
I always board it out going second.
Yeah, I board that out in the field spell.
I don't board out
Usually.
the field. I think you need the field spell in that. And like
I hate
it depends on the
drawing it.
matchup, I think.
I can't stand drawing it going second.
But like going second in like the mirror match, the field spell's insane.
Oh yeah, I don't personally play many Labyrinth mirror matches unless I'm playing against you.
That's fair. Even though everybody our locals is playing Labyrinth now,
Bro,
it's like I show up playing it one time.
They won't be on it for
with
long.
the new
Jake, I
support,
told
dude,
you-
and then everyone wants to
Jake,
play it.
I'm telling you.
They won't be on it.
I'm telling you, the goo is like when you're going against the mirror, just set the Awakening Dragon, bro. Just
Yeah,
Actually,
Awaken
you
the Dragon,
can't
dude.
because
Summon
Welcome
Exterio.
Labyrinth locks you. Welcome Labyrinth
just set
locks
it.
you.
No, dude, no. I'm telling you, man. You'll just summon anyway.
Oh, just do it illegally.
Yeah.
That's
What are they
the,
gonna
that's
do?
the goo right there. That's the spice.
But
No,
definitely,
this-
like,
it's,
for
it's
me,
definitely Boo Boo game.
I
Boo Boo
think
game is wild.
I tried it. It didn't work for me, but I only tried it once, so I probably should try it again.
It wins a lot. I think my opponent, like I was testing today and I played against the mirror and my opponent like eradicated me because I didn't get eradicator access like turn 1, but he blew up one of the Boo Boo games and I'm like, cool, I'm gonna set all the back row you just destroyed anyways. I think I won that game.
I've been having this crazy success against branded when they're a little low on like economy in hand.
Mhm.
They'll go like fusion deployment to get the Cartesia access. Anytime I know they've searched Cartesia or added it back to hand from graveyard, it especially comes up from grave because it's usually like a top deck type situation. Once you lovely pop a card in hand, if you hit that Cartesia, they scoop, they lose.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
Amazing.
Hitting Cartesia is wild. It's really,
Mhm.
really strong.
seeing Modder
Yeah,
when he
it's
got his
huge.
Cartesia getting popped and he
Yeah,
look at his
Modder was
face.
sick,
He-
bro.
I
Modder
looked
was
at him,
sick.
he's
on
like,
that
"You're
one.
pissed."
You can tell. He was.
My
He
favorite.
was
I
sick.
love testing against Modder. It's just really funny.
It is really funny.
Love you, Modder.
I was watching
shout
I was
out,
watching
mother.
Sito
Hi.
test against. I don't remember who he was playing against, but like he was testing Labyrinth, and I look at his hand. It's like double lava golem, double skill drain, no engine, and I said that's a hand. I'm like, that's how
Yep.
Sito's hands are gonna be this whole time playing that deck, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm seeing as well. Is like what I am seeing more of are control decks. So, like for me, like that's why, like in a sense, I'm playing ninjas because I wanted to play something fun, for regionals, because just what was it 2 weeks ago, we went to the waffles that was in where was that at? I don't remember where exactly where it was.
Plymouth
Plymouth
meeting,
meeting.
dude.
And at the
Plymouth
time,
Regional.
Chinese food locals, dude.
dude, the Chinese locals was not.
You got to
Now,
get the backstory
before,
on this.
before you get into this story,
Yeah,
This is important.
this venue is just a Chinese restaurant.
it really
It's
was.
a Chinese all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah, they turned
And
it
there
into
was-
a card shop.
Zero attempt to make it look like it was anything different. They would use like the hot trays where you keep the food at a Chinese buffet. They would just put
Cards.
product in it, and they would
Did you guys
say,
play at like the table at like booths?
"Yeah,
Yes.
we would literally just play at the Chinese food booths, and it was like there was no room. Like there was like every like 4 mats were on like one table. It was
Yeah,
horrible.
people were stacking on top of each other, man. It was crazy.
It was absolutely horrible.
At one point, there was a dude who stood up on top of the tables. Nick told us this, and then everyone just like, yeah, just started cheering on. I'm just like, bro, this is like the worst.
And they shut the bathrooms down the first hour after they opened.
Oh
Oh,
my
like,
gosh!
yeah,
Yeah,
they
who
destroyed
sent
it.
a video? Somebody sent a
Mr.
video. Was it Tom?
Skylar. No, that was Skylar.
Oh, Skylar sent the video because he walked in like before they were closed, and it was like flooding.
That's wild.
There's some guy pooped a Duke way too hard in that toilet, dude.
Definitely a Yu-Gi-Oh player.
At the time, we were all just kind of like playing our decks that we played in the last format or getting ready for this format. So the deck that I brought in was Sword Soul. And that deck went crazy. I put in my little spice with, Iris Sword
Andy
Soul.
loves this card.
Iris Sword Soul got me the win, man. I'm
Yeah, little
so
Iris, man.
yeah. I'm telling you, my last game I went against Purely. This was just to get top 32, man, and just to get the invite, bro. And
The whispering Iris.
Iris came into my hand. It didn't came into my hand. I was like going Moye
And he
combo,
said, "I
and
want
then
to get the invite with
Yeah,
Iris."
it-
So he
it's-
searched
it-
it.
I searched it with Shisha. I was like, bro, I don't need blackout. I got double imperm. I'm bringing out the Iris, double imperm Iris. Let's go. Like it was like, first off, it was crazy too. It was like apparently he looked at me. He was like, you played around Lava Golem, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I bet. And you gonna
man.
play?
Around,
Yeah.
And
The Lava Golem.
he looked at me. He saw
I
Iris.
can't believe you did that.
He's like, I actually lose. Good game. He was. I lost to him in my locals,
pushes his glasses in.
and I went in. I just. I'm so great, but I'm thankful for the invite that I got it with Source Soul. But now I want to play.
because
something
now you
fun.
can just goof around.
Yeah,
this meta.
but I actually think ninjas are actually like decent. They're not the greatest deck in the world.
all right.
They're
Good
like-
skill
They're a
drain.
fun deck to play
They're-
around
it's
with,
a
right?
it's a very fun deck.
Skill drain.
It still plays around skill drain. Funny enough,
I win.
It's so crazy. It's one of
Skill drain
those
and lady.
decks where you do realize that if you just set a card, even setting a card and setting 3 is pretty much full combo if you
Well,
have the stuff like ready for it. Of course, if you do get hit with the skill drain, it sucks sometimes, but
yeah, and
you can pilot
fun,
it.
like touching on that, like it's nice to be in a format where every hand your opponent draws isn't an FTK.
No,
I hate formats
I-
like that, dude.
Yeah, it is.
That
It is
was-
nice to be like. It's sometimes you can get hand trapped in set 2 pass, and like you're not guaranteed to lose.
yes,
That's what I didn't like about last format. Like I know, like so tier wasn't like you didn't technically feel like you got FTK'd without because they played on your opponents. They played on both turns, so it kind of did.
Yeah.
But like they didn't really set up a quote unquote unbreakable board. I think like playing as full power sprite could feel like that at times though, where it's just like you look at the board and you're like,
Triple toad, dude.
yeah, like it's
toad.
like triple toad
And
plus
you
like
Ibly
another
locked?
plus like a red negate or like You just look at the board, you're like,
Crazy.
You've
Yeah,
been
I
the game
lose
for every
this
card in my
one.
hand. Well,
Going first with Sprite felt so cheesy all the time, bro. Because I'd set up triple toad and my opponent would try to play through it, and I'd be like, "You're crazy."
at least for
Yeah,
and then
like-
they're
like your one
five
board
cards
is, like-
later, I still got another toad live, and they're like, "Yeah, let's go next game."
your one board is at least like it's like 4 to 5 interruptions minimum, right?
Mhm.
So,
And they're layered, which is like the good part. Like
Mhm.
I always talk about how I think layered interruptions in the combo decks, mid range decks, are like way, which is like the same thing with Cashier. Cashier does not layer their interruptions; it's all like right there.
For
But
sure.
with Sprite, you got hit by Dark Ruler, and it's like cool double cross, smashers, starter, summon out red or carrot, which is like I don't know. I love that. I love that about decks.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like
Personally.
I don't know. I kind of want Sprite to work because I think Sprite without Elf feels really cool. Actually, I think it's a cool deck.
It's cool. Yeah, it's just like
It
I
doesn't
feel like
really
it's
do
not
enough
quite
compared to like
at the
Brandon.
balance.
So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Me and Hibbles were talking about it too, and I built a variant of Sprite with the Evil Twins, and the Evil Twins, they did pretty well in the YCS2. One guy topped with it. However, I do feel like the deck does have potential. It just needs
It's less
to be
Sprite,
worked
more
on.
Evil Twins.
Exactly, but also in a sense with like even Tri-Brigade Sprite, like there are ways to play the deck. It's just unfortunately, without Elf, you do kind of lose that advantage of trying to like gain back that red, because once red is gone, like it's gone. You can't get it back. So
Dude, some Summer Summoner.
yeah, Summer Summoner.
Come on, man.
Summer Summoner.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, that's like we're getting ready for. I guess we're getting
That's-
ready for this is in 2 weeks. They said the regionals is coming up.
The unmatched. Yeah,
Yep.
it's not this Saturday. It's the next
It's the
Saturday.
next
March
Saturday.
18th. Yep.
So big,
Or
big-
not too. Yeah, not. Jeez, it's already like almost Friday, but. So I guess yeah. So this Saturday coming up for us will be the 4th. So the regional is 2 weeks after that.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
So we
That's
have
And we
the best
just
way to put
need
it.
for our team, we just need Bippy and Swartley to get their invites,
yeah,
Yes, sir. Then
which
we'll-
we're hoping
Hey,
for.
What about
we are testing
what about
hard.
Pap,
we
bro?
are
Pap. He already got.
Pap if he's choosing to play, but Pap's focusing more on I think some back end stuff at the moment. But if he brings a deck, I know Pap can do it.
Dude, Nick was so close to the last one. Nick's getting there this
He
one.
was.
I
Nick
feel.
was
Yeah,
going
well,
crazy.
and like Himbles, I was just saying this to Nick. Like I feel like you and I like about like a year or so ago, we like really hit like a groove competitively. And then like I feel like Nick's hitting that right now.
Yeah, once you hit
Like
that
he's really
groove,
finding
you
his
start-
step.
It's like it's really funny
Super
because when you
cool.
start playing competitive, after you start playing competitively for like a certain amount of time, you start seeing the game differently than
Mhm.
the way you did before. Because
Well,
now
and
every
you
time I
start
look at
getting
every
rewarded.
interaction, I'm literally thinking every time I make a play, okay, so if I play this card, so I have basically options A, B, and C. Option A loses to this, option B loses to this, option C loses to this. Knowing what I know about my opponent, what is the most likely they have? And like
Yeah.
you like structure your plays based off of that. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're like you don't play a lot competitively, you don't think about that, and you just lose to cards. But you
That and it's like you get to the point where like okay, mastering my own deck and combos was not enough, apparently.
Mhm.
I still lost every single game. It's like, yeah, like that. Yeah, you can't just like sit there like I mean, years ago, like that was like valid before like the internet, like not the internet. God, what am I
Before the
saying?
internet.
Before like before like Yugi tubing was like huge, and back when we just had like Galactic God and like Simply Unlucky, like doing test hands in your room more than the other person like sometimes was enough. But like now you like really need to know like every single line and against every single interaction.
for sure.
And it's like Andy too, but I mean like Andy was playing like a lot last year while Nick and I were like kind of like off. But like seeing them both like hit those grooves this format is super exciting. And Swartley, dude, I think he just gets unlucky, to be honest.
Austin will come
I
back
think
after
he's-
he's like, well, I lost because I opened up 5 1-ups and I couldn't play the game, and my own opponent opened up full combo.
full
Wait,
combo.
Or he's like, my opponent,
Wait, hold on,
I
let's
opened
see
up
if we
full
can-
combo, and my opponent had 3 hand traps plus like 1 card starter.
Wait, let's see.
The-
Let's see if we can find some of the text real quick.
While you look
They're
for those, bro,
fun.
the
It's
legend-
comedic almost. Like
The legend of Swartley is
it's
dropping
so funny
early
'cause
from an
Austin's
event.
Like, I didn't play bad. I just like I
That's
got
a-
sacked like 5 matches in a row, and it's like, well,
Yes,
and honestly, that's something I was actually gonna touch on. Is like part of growing as a player is realizing that there's some matches you just can't win, right?
Yeah, scooping it up. Just say, yeah, picking up my cards.
Like
next
sometimes,
game.
like it feels bad because you could go racking your brain for hours. It's like, okay, what could I have done wrong? And you go through a bunch of hypotheticals. But like in the moment, if the play that you made was correct without knowing what your opponent had, it's like, what are you supposed to do if it's objectively the correct play?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you shouldn't necessarily make an incorrect, like go back and say you should have made a play that was objectively incorrect at the time to play around a
just
card
to play
that,
around something you didn't know.
something super
existed.
obscene that your
Yeah.
opponent like, because sometimes you actually get punished by your opponent like building their deck incorrectly, and it sucks when it's Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh, I hate it more
Nah,
than
I'm not
anything,
name
right? You're like,
dropping,
why are
but
you
I know
playing
exactly
that
what you're talking
card?
Okay. First, if we want to hear about the legend of me getting unlucky, YCS Hartford. I played 4 rounds. Just got sacked, got unlucky. Thing is, in those 4 rounds, I played 2 people from my locals. You know,
Bro.
Wait, did you actually?
Yes, I played Edgar and I played Gio.
I remember you played Edgar
Yeah.
like round
Like,
1, right?
Round 4. I played Gio round 1. I played Edgar.
Oh, you
round
played
4.
Geo round
Yeah, I'm
early
just
on,
like,
right?
I'm like,
Yeah.
we're from Reading. We commuted 4 hours. We went to play some different people. So like, I drop after round 4 YCS Harvard because my friend sacked me. Join a the Rivalry Warwoods event. Get Lyralisk, mop everybody 6-0, and get one of those uncut sheets of secrets. And I'm like, I think that's better than the X4
Than what you would have got for
in the,
potentially.
in the
It's
event.
better than a day 1 than a day 2 bubble, right?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like
You know what's so funny, Austin? Before you dug up those texts, I was literally about to say the legend of Swartley is to drop early from an event and then 5-0 the side
Dude,
events.
It happened when we went up to the Goofy
Happens
Gauntlet too,
every
right?
time.
Yeah,
The Goofy Gauntlet. He
he
won a mat side event at a
You just need to start entering side events permanently, bro.
That's what I'm saying. This upcoming
Dude,
YCS,
Austin, go to
bro.
Nats and
Let's go.
only enter side events. Like,
He's
I
gonna
need
be
an invite.
sleeping up the winnings. He's gonna be getting way more prizing than we are.
I need an invite first. I can't do good in the regional.
no. You could go to Nats and just play side events.
Exactly, dog.
This
You don't
man's
have
gonna
to
like
have an
12
invite to
giant cards
enter
by the end of the
venue.
year.
Unless they changed it this year.
So much money. But yeah, we're getting ready for that big time. We're so excited.
That
YCS
and,
Philly's coming up.
Ooh,
YCS Philly.
Ooh.
I'm gonna try to make it.
YCS
I don't know if
Philly,
I
I'm
can
so
or not yet,
excited
but
for.
I definitely want to.
I hope you can, man. I hope you can make it.
Me skipping my
gonna be a
sister's
good time.
graduation for Yu-Gi-Oh.
Hey, it's one thing. Once in a lifetime. YCS Philly.
YCS Philly happens once.
It only happens once.
Speaking of, by then Cyberstorm Access should be out, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I can't wait
and-
to be playing the same exact deck that I'm playing right now.
Crappy little maze of memories. What a
Hey
So-
man,
Stinker.
Gate Guardians, bro. Come on.
I do really want the CR Baron. I will say.
What else comes
Um,
out in Maze of Memories?
So Gate
CR
Guardians. Yeah. See,
I'm looking at the list
uh,
right now. Oh no,
Chimera
that
reprint.
set's really bad. I remember I was looking at
Yeah.
it.
it's not the
It's
greatest.
worse than Amazing Defense.
The only
It's-
thing that's
it's
really
not good.
good is the new Stardust synchro, which has potential.
Dude,
um,
but what about the Labyrinth Wall
if the best
reprint?
card in the set is defined as having potential, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
The reprints are nice. The reprints are nice. I'll
Yes,
give it that.
$3
Rika
solemn
reprints are
judgments.
good.
Chimera and Baron for sure, but they literally just could
Yo,
have thrown that in any other set.
Hey, everybody should definitely just buy all the solemn judgments that they can. By the way, because that card will always go back up to $5 to $10.
Everything, bro. The commons right now are like $9 bucks.
That's why you can't get a copy
Ridiculous,
for
man.
cheaper than $10 right now. I think.
Every time I pick up a playset of solemn judgments, I go, I'm not moving this,
And then you move
for
them.
some reason
You
I end up
move it.
moving them, and I'm like, crap.
Dude, I'm gonna buy solemn judgments off of everybody at locals, and I'm just going to make a binder full of super rare solemn judgments.
It's good, bro. Just
And I'll be
open some
rich.
cases and
Carter
just for the
looking
judgments.
at-
I don't even care about anything
Carter
else.
was looking at my binder, bro.
I have
That
unearthed.
shit-
I've unearthed a very nice thing in my notes.
Some more
So-
messages in the
okay,
Legend of Swartley.
Yes. Okay. So during Brave Pranket format, Philly Regional. Okay. I started the day. I was 5-0 to start the day.
Oh
And
my
then,
gosh, I remember this.
And then
I think I did too.
Yeah, so then I started to come down with a fever or something. I took
Yeah,
my time.
yeah,
and
you were
I was
sick.
like 101. I'm like not experiencing COVID symptoms, but like I was like some form of like allergy or like just changing the weather, just like annihilated my sciences.
We had just moved to what? It was like was it summer to fall? Was that it?
Yeah, it was like May. So it was like spring.
Oh no, it was May. It was spring into like we had just moved into spring, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, it was spring. Yeah, like it was like getting warmer in spring. So like all the pollen and stuff, and like I get just obliterated by that. So, I'm 5-0. I'm at like table 2 at the Philly regional. I'm feeling good. You know, I'm drawing prank, I'm drawing triple hand trap, kid, temple. You know, I'm feeling it. Then I just start dying.
Crazy.
I just start dying. I'm popping like just different meds after every round. I'm like trying to like medicate myself and just get through this. Nope. End the day 5-4 because I can't think straight.
Damn.
And I think you got floodgated to death too.
Oh
like the
yeah,
last 3
yeah.
rounds.
I played.
That's the curse.
Despia. I got floodgated by Phantom Knight in round 7. I got.
What did PK
What did
flip
PK
on?
I like just I think for the rivalry or goes and.
Goes in
Flip
match.
goes. Oh no!
Yo.
Yeah,
Bro,
and then I
he
played.
wanted
And then
it
I played
more.
Eldritch. I played Glue Eldritch. And then,
Oh, I hate Eldritch.
yeah, I'm so glad.
Any
Dude, wait,
form
I
of
have
it.
a really funny story from that same regional. That was where I got my invite with Swordslow, I think. Yeah, I got it with Swordslow
Yeah.
there. I think I got like 12th or 13th, but it's like round 5 or 6 maybe. I think I just lost. No, it's like 4-0, I think, and I played against some guy playing Eldritch, and he had never read Evo Longyun. So he just kept flipping up his floodgates and just kept banishing them like turn after turn, and like
Just
he
not
just
learning.
he just didn't learn, dude. Like
Activate.
I went like battle phase, attempt to swing for game. He's like,
Rivalry.
he flipped like one of the trap monsters. I went banish, and you went, yeah, you got it.
Oh yeah.
Um.
You know what? You know what's really exciting?
What?
So for one, Cyberstorm Access, I know we touched upon that.
Yeah.
The Mana Dome archetype looks really cool. It sucks as of what we have now, but I think we were talking about this earlier. I think the set, whatever set comes after,
We don't even
It's
know what
gonna
comes
be
out
like-
after, right?
no, we have no clue. They might, maybe there's a name. I don't know.
I
but
was looking on like
nothing revealed.
the OCG wiki. I couldn't really find it, but maybe it's just like not updated.
Yeah, I don't
think
think
that's
I don't-
where we're gonna
yeah, I don't
see
think
some,
the-
like,
the set was even
cool
announced.
Mana Dome stuff. Which I'm excited for because I was originally excited because the Mana Dome sprite deck looked really cool, but then Elf got banned. Rest in
Dude,
peace.
I'm excited for the new Dinomorphia support, so my Starlight, whatever her name is, can be more than
Tiresias.
$30.
Can go up $2.
They'll
in
go up
price.
to like $120 for a day, and then I could sell them.
for $2.
Then I could.
Bro,
sell
I
them.
remember when you bought those. It was literally at.
Is that unmatched?
It was but
I
what
bought
was
them
it?
off
It was
Chris.
a case tournament. Was it their grand opening?
It might have. Yes, it was. It was. The
I
grand
think it was
opening
their grand
tournament. Yeah,
opening.
Chris had a playset of Starlight Tiresias, and I said, "I'm gonna build this deck. I want this." And then I played
Yeah.
the deck like twice, and I was like, "This deck is really bad." So I
This
stopped playing.
deck
it.
Yeah.
sucks.
No, but me and Seth made a really cool version of the deck where it was literally we just threw like every good fusion archetype into that deck, and it was really funny. We could end on like, what would we end on? Like with a crazy hand, it'd be like the Rexstrom, so like
Yeah.
pseudo VFD, and then we'd end on like DPE plus Mirror Jade with like a Snow Engrave.
Yeah.
Like, and that was
Snow
really
Engrave
funny.
is Snow Engrave. Crazy.
I hate Fairy Tale Snow.
The other thing I'm really excited about is in addition to Cyberstorm Access is the 25 year anniversary. That set, bro, the quarter century secret rares. I'm like super excited for that because I've seen some
is that the one
OCG
that they announced in
leaks.
Battles of Legend? The monster.
I just don't. You know what? They'd be saying so much stuff. I just
Yeah,
don't
the
even- I
quarter
can't keep
century
track
secret
anymore.
rares are in Battles of Legend. The new Battles of Legends that are coming out. So that's like we're getting a Welcome Labyrinth. We're getting Rite of Aramasir in that. Dante. Zeus. Dark Armed is sick.
Dude, I'm-
The Engage alt art.
Playing Burning Abyss when that Dante gets printed. I don't care.
Is there
I mean-
an alternate art?
Have you not seen
Dante?
the alt art
The-
Engage? It looks
I've
pretty
seen
cool.
the alternate art engaged.
The OCG leaks for those rarities are crazy.
They look nuts, dude.
If
They look
we get
actually
anything close to
insane.
that, I will be happy.
OCG. So like I also like I enjoyed because I remember watching yesterday. I saw Ruxin's opening. Ruxin 34. What was it? He opening the 25th anniversary of the OCG side of their like their stuff, and all of like like you said, like they had like 8 different printings of like secret rares, including ultimate rares, and like what was like one of them was like an ulti like dogmatic of punishment, which looked really really cool. Even like a prismatic secret like Lancia looked really good. So
do any of you
I'm
guys
very
own any
excited.
OCG like cards?
I have an OCG
No.
ulti.
They're
I have an
they
OCG.
feel so much better than NA prints, dude.
I have a
Everything does.
a Caliuga. I used as a field.
Yeah,
center.
I have a I picked up a what was it? It's like a collector's rare OCG Kagari that I got because it was like $8 or $10 or something, right?
Well-
but it's like it's just so much better quality.
You
Well,
also
and it's like
we
so
get.
criminal that we can't play OCG cards because like
I
some
know
of them,
because
like,
they use different
I
card
want to
stock.
play
They use
Ghost
better
Rare
card
Zeus.
stock than us, so we can't
Yeah.
like because you could tell what the cards are in your deck, which
What
makes
was it?
sense.
Okay, we'll
like
just
why
make,
we can't
make ours
play
better.
them. But I wish that like they all
Why don't they
use, like,
just
the
make
same
our card
printing
stock better?
facilities.
And then yeah, exactly.
we're stuck with gold
Exactly.
rares.
with gold rares.
Dude, I swear, when I saw a gold rare at Appaloosa, I was like, "There's no way this card is just gonna stay like this nasty gold rare." And so it's like
Andy
IP.
peeling off all the gold
I'll-
gold parts. Of the gold rare.
Go dig in there, ripping it all
He
off.
said it's not staying like
It's
this.
not
I'm not on
staying.
my watch.
If I
He
ever
just
pulled,
completely destroys his opponent's Appaloosa because he can't stand looking at it.
give me your access code, dude. I'm just gonna.
Yeah. Oh, that bro.
Do you remember when gold rare access codes were still $50? Like because
Yeah.
we hadn't had the Crystal Revenge reprint yet.
Nope.
That's
Yeah.
wild to me. That you had to pay $50 for an
And when
ugly
people-
gold rare
But the
access
secret
code.
rare was like 55.
Yeah.
It was.
And I was like,
101
anytime I
points.
seen someone playing that gold rare, I was like, bro, you chose that one. I'm sorry, man.
It's the same with like I understand like the Nightmare Phoenix or not. No, is it Nightmare Unicorn?
Unicorn.
Like Unicorn. Like I understand, but come on, man. Like a gold rare does not look good.
The IP.
And
Hey.
Danger Bigfoot, bro. Danger Bigfoot.
They
alt art
did
was
all those alt arts so
crazy.
dirty, man. I'm so sad.
I
Yeah.
play.
At least
I play,
Appaloosa got like the ultra reprint and Mavens, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool. But
IP could have had that too. Like there are so many different arts that they could have like made, like especially for Unicorn. Unicorn looks so crazy. As it could have been really good as at least like an ultra rare.
Yeah.
wait, Austin, did you send me a mess like?
No,
Oh
this-
no, the
This was
premium
in
pack
text.
thing.
This was just a different thing. I screenshotted and sent to you.
Oh, that's. Can I share this? This is so
Yeah,
funny.
this is
Ludwig messaged Austin and you know the new Sky Striker card. It's
The Maiden.
Wisdom Magus
Mhm.
Himmel, and Ludwig messaged Tyler messaged Austin and said, "Named a card after Himmler before me for strikers. I'm killing myself." That's so funny.
yes. Tyler Lubbock's genuine, dude. If any of you are near the Reading area, go to Unmatched Games. Tyler will hook you up. Tell him I sent you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Tyler's one of
tell
my
'em
favorite people. But Tyler and Chris are both awesome.
They're best.
For
They run
those
the
that-
best shop.
that aren't
I wish we
aware,
lived closer. I would go
Chris-
every week.
Chris Urena, YCS champion, owns him and Tyler
Good
Ludwig
time.
own Unmatched Gaming.
Tyler, Chris, and Edgar are the
And Edgar.
Edgars.
Edgar.
They're the
Egder.
Yeah,
mostly
Edgar's chill
Chris's.
too. I like talking to Edgar. I don't get to interact with him as much, but I'm also not up there very often.
yeah.
I just like I said, I wish it was so much closer because I'd go every single week.
I
love
would
that
too,
shop.
dude. It's like an hour 15 for us, so it feels
And
kind
it's
of bad.
that extra 15 that does it too. It's
If
that
it's
last
just an
15
hour,
minutes.
it's not that bad. You could, because I'm like, Lancaster's like
15,
50
bro.
minutes. I can make it to Lancaster. An hour 15 is like, oh, that's 25 more minutes than Lancaster.
Back when like loot was open, that 55-minute drive wasn't too bad.
Well, I forgot it was
I
longer
miss
for you
Luke.
guys because you had to drive through where I live.
Yeah, I drove an hour.
That
30
was
from
super
Kutztown.
nice. I really like that because I didn't have to drive half the time.
Yeah, I drove an hour 30 to that shop. just to see you guys. I was like, oh, I really want to see my boys, and I want to play Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Dude,
like nothing in
that's
the
what
area.
Yu-Gi-Oh is, dude. It's all about the camaraderie.
Those are the golden
Yeah.
days, bro. Was like when we were going to loot 3 times a week, every single week, bro.
that
was
dude, we
crazy.
we were going crazy. Like,
Uh,
I think that's when we started to get really good at the game. It's literally just
Yeah.
like, hey,
We were forced
we
to.
said we want to get good.
Yeah.
So we just said we're going to all these tournaments, and we did.
Yep. Paid off. That was like the most rewarding season of Yu-Gi-Oh because it was like the hard work was like finally starting to pay off. Like you could see it.
That
Like
was,
you start topping locals and it's like cool, and then like you go to regionals and you get like your invite and you're like, sweet.
Yeah, I feel like that first grind is like, I'm not gonna say it's like peak, but it's like, it's when you start really getting that adrenaline rush from Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like, oh, Nats is coming up. I really need to get this invite. Let me
Yeah.
grind. I need to grind to try to get this Nats invite because I want to prove that I'm like a good player, you know?
Yeah.
Because you see all these other players, it's like, oh, I have my invite, and you're like, okay, well, I've beaten these players, so I could get my invite too. So
Mhm.
it's like, you're like, okay, I have to prove it like to myself, I have to prove it, and like, that's when that competitiveness like starts to kick in. Like, I know, Jake, you're pretty competitive. I played sports most of my life. I'm very competitive, and I was like, yeah, I want to prove that I'm good at this game.
Mm-hmm.
Me telling myself, why do you guys ever play this game? This game sucks.
Yeah, bro,
Everything-
you need to get out of your head, dude.
Nah.
You get way too inside your own head.
After a while, I'm learning. Like I said, like I'm learning a lot, and definitely like
Yeah.
after what was it? Because actually, that regionals taught me a lot of just being like, hey, it sucks that you lost. Get over it. Go ahead, get out there, play some music. Get ready for the next round, boy. You winning. And just get
Play
in
some
there,
music. You
bro.
doing concerts in between rounds.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir, bro.
absolutely.
I'm
Me
going
always.
outside.
The
I'm
AirPods are
playing
always on.
outside. AirPods are in, bro. My AirPod.
Andy
My
listens to Rocky music every like the Eye of the Tiger between rounds.
Yeah.
I was actually listening to not Eye of the Tiger.
Andy's
I was
Why not?
Apollo
listening.
Creed.
It's There's No Easy Way Out. It's the
Andy
song
listening
where
to Every
he's-
Time We Touch by Cascada.
Yeah. Andy's the type of dude to listen to Not Afraid by Eminem to get pumped up, dude. He'd be singing like, I'm not afraid.
Definitely a fun time though. Definitely a fun
Guys, I think we need to wrap things up here.
Probably we've been going for
Um,
quite a bit.
Fortunately.
You know
Yep,
how it
yep.
gets going. You get talking and you just keep going, dude.
Snowball. Yep. But it was a great time. To our audience, if this is your first time visiting the channel, thank you. Seriously. If this is not your first time, sorry that we've been not putting out content, but we are committed now. We should be getting posts up at least every week, whether that's a podcast or a vlog or a deck list, a deck profile, something. We're trying to just get something to you guys out at least once a week so we can just keep feeding you this content. But let us know what you guys want to see below, like what kind of content, what you want us to talk about in the podcast, and we will be doing our best to include all that. So, again, please, guys, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell if you like the content. If not, don't. We don't want to annoy you. But we're just super thankful that you guys tuned in, and we hope to catch you on the next podcast. Peace.
All right, bye-bye.
Love
See ya.
you.